Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you question everything. Story 1. My husband embarrassed me at baby prep class. So my husband just got us kicked out of a baby prep class, and I'm starting to think I might be the problem here. Okay, let me explain this disaster. We're expecting our first baby, and I signed us up for this infant care class at the hospital. You know, the usual stuff about diaper changing, swaddling, feeding, all that new parent anxiety fuel. So there we are last night with about 20 other pregnant couples, and my husband starts acting up immediately. He's making little jokes, whispering comments to me during the presentation, just being generally disruptive. I kept telling him to stop because I thought it was rude to the instructors, but he has ADHD and I could tell he was fidgeting. Plus it was an evening class and his meds were off by then. The material was mostly stuff we already knew anyway, but still, show some respect, right? Well, things got really bad when we reached the diaper changing demonstration. The instructor is showing us proper technique on this practice baby doll, and my husband raises his hand. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he has a legitimate question. Nope. He asks the instructor, completely seriously, if babies come with an instruction manual because clearly this one is defective since it's not crying or pooping. The whole class starts laughing, but I can see the instructor is not amused. Then he follows up with asking if there's a return policy if the baby doesn't match the ultrasound photos. At this point, I'm mortified. I'm trying to shush him, but he's on a roll now. When they start talking about feeding schedules, he raises his hand again and asks if babies have a snooze button like alarm clocks because he's not a morning person. The instructor finally asks us to step outside for a moment. I was so embarrassed I wanted to crawl under the table. Outside, I told him he's not allowed to speak at our next class if he can't take it seriously. He got defensive and said he was just trying to lighten the mood because everyone looked stressed, and that learning should be fun. He said I was being uptight and that the other couples seemed to enjoy his humor. Now he's giving me the silent treatment and saying I'm treating him like a child instead of supporting him. His mom even called me saying I was being too harsh and that humor is how he copes with anxiety about becoming a dad. But here's the thing, this isn't just about the class. I'm realizing I might be about to raise 2 children instead of 1, and that terrifies me. What if he acts like this during labor? What if he can't be serious when our actual baby needs him? Am I being a controlling wife, or is it reasonable to expect your partner to act like an adult during important parenting preparation? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. A little girl thinks I'm her dad and it's breaking my heart. So a 5-year-old girl thinks I'm her father, and I just had to break her heart in the worst possible way. This is honestly one of the most devastating situations I've ever been in. Let me start from the beginning. Years ago, I dated this woman named Jane. We were pretty serious, but when we started talking about our future goals, we hit a major incompatibility. She wanted kids, I absolutely didn't, so we broke up on good terms and stayed friends. Well, sometime after our breakup, Jane got pregnant from a one-night stand. She tried to find the guy but couldn't track him down. When the baby was born, Jane asked if I wanted to meet her daughter, and I said sure. This little girl was absolutely adorable, and over the years, I became like an uncle figure to her. I'd visit sometimes, bring gifts, play with her, that sort of thing. Jane was always clear with her daughter that I was just a family friend, but I guess kids see what they want to see. Recently, Jane started dating someone seriously, and she's been trying to transition her daughter to see this new guy as a potential father figure. That's when things got complicated. Last week, I went over to visit, and this little girl runs up to me and just starts calling me daddy. She's hugging my legs, telling me about her day at school, asking when I'm coming home to live with them. I looked at Jane in panic, and she looked mortified. She immediately tried to correct her daughter, but the little girl got upset and insisted that I was her daddy because I love her and bring her presents and play with her just like daddies do in her picture books. Jane pulled me aside and explained that her daughter has been asking more questions about her father lately, especially since the new boyfriend has been around. Apparently, she's been confused about why some kids have daddies who live with them and some don't. In her 5-year-old logic, since I care about her and spend time with her, I must be her missing father. The hardest part was having to gently explain to this sweet little girl that I'm not her daddy, that I'm just a friend who cares about her very much. She started crying and asking why her daddy doesn't want to live with her like other kids' daddies. I felt like the worst person in the world. Jane thinks I should maybe step back from visiting for a while to avoid more confusion, especially as she develops this relationship with her new partner. Part of me understands that logic, but another part of me feels like I'd be abandoning this kid who's already confused about father figures. The new boyfriend seems like a great guy and genuinely wants to be a dad to her, but I've been in her life for 5 years. Jane's not asking me to disappear forever, just to give them some space to establish new family dynamics. But I keep thinking about that little girl asking why I don't want to live with her. Was I wrong to tell her the truth so directly, or should I have let Jane handle it differently? Story 3. I watched someone keep a lost wallet and had to make a choice. So I witnessed what was basically theft at the grocery store yesterday, and now I'm wondering if I did the right thing by getting involved. I was at self-checkout when I noticed this kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old, pick up a wallet from the floor. He immediately showed it to his dad, and I heard something like, "Someone dropped this." Now, my first thought was, oh good, they're going to turn it in to customer service. That's what any decent person would do, right? But then I watched the dad open the wallet, start looking through it, checking the ID and cards. He said something to his son that I couldn't quite hear, and they just walked away. They didn't head to customer service, they didn't look around for the person who might have dropped it, they just continued with their shopping like nothing happened. I finished scanning my groceries, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Someone was probably panicking right now, retracing their steps, looking everywhere for their wallet. Meanwhile, these people just pocketed it. So I made a decision. I walked over to customer service and told them what I saw. I described the father and son and said they had found a wallet but didn't turn it in. The employee immediately called security and started making announcements about a lost wallet. Within minutes, this frantic woman comes rushing over saying she'd been looking everywhere for her wallet. Turns out it had all her credit cards, her driver's license, and about $200 cash for groceries. She was almost in tears with relief. Security found the father and son near the produce section. When they approached them, the dad tried to play dumb at first, but when they asked to check his pockets, there was the wallet. The woman was so grateful, she actually tried to give me a reward, which I obviously refused. But here's where it gets complicated. The dad was furious with me. He starts yelling about how I don't know their situation, how maybe they needed that money more than some lady who can afford to carry $200 in cash. He said I ruined his son's day and made him look like a criminal in front of everyone. The kid was crying, clearly confused about why daddy was in trouble for something they found. Security escorted them out, but not before the dad told me I should mind my own business and that what goes around comes around. Now I'm second-guessing myself. I mean, technically they did find it, and I don't know their financial situation. Maybe they really were desperate. But on the other hand, that wallet belonged to someone else who was clearly distressed about losing it. The woman mentioned she's a single mom and that money was her grocery budget for the week. Part of me feels bad for the kid who got caught up in his father's poor decision-making. He probably didn't understand what was happening, and now he's learned a lesson about finding things that maybe wasn't the lesson anyone wanted to teach. But I keep coming back to the basic principle, it wasn't theirs to keep. Am I overthinking this, or did I do the right thing by speaking up? Story 4. My 10-year safari dream is causing relationship drama. So I've been saving for 10 years to go on my dream African safari, and now my girlfriend is demanding I take her to or don't go at all. This is causing a huge fight and I honestly don't know what to do. Let me give you some context. Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with wildlife and African safaris. I'm talking nature documentaries, National Geographic, the whole 9 yards. When I started working, I opened a separate savings account specifically for this trip because I knew it would be expensive. We're talking $16,000 for the luxury all-inclusive experience I've always dreamed of. My girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years, and she's always known about this plan. I've talked about it constantly, shown her the lodges I want to stay at, the animals I hope to see, everything. She seemed supportive, or at least not opposed to it. Well, I finally hit my savings goal and started looking at booking the trip. That's when everything went sideways. Suddenly she's furious that I would even consider going without her. She's saying that if I go, I have to take her too, which would mean doubling the cost to $32,000. Here's the problem, I don't have $32,000. I have exactly what I need for one person after 10 years of careful saving. She's suggesting I either wait longer to save for both of us, or pay for her portion and let her pay me back over time. But here's what she doesn't understand, this isn't just any vacation for me. This is the trip I've been planning and dreaming about for literally half my life. I'm 26 now, and I've been saving for this since I was 16. I've made sacrifices, skipped other trips, worked extra hours, all for this specific goal. When I try to explain this to her, she gets even more upset. She says that after 6 years together, I should want to share important experiences with her. She thinks it's selfish that I'd rather go alone than wait to go with her. She's also hurt that I apparently don't consider her part of my big life dreams. I get why she's upset, I really do. But this feels different to me. This is something I planned and worked toward long before we met. It's deeply personal to me, almost spiritual in a way. I've imagined this trip so many times, planned every detail, and in all those fantasies, it was always a solo journey of personal fulfillment. She's threatening to break up with me if I go without her, saying it shows that I don't prioritize our relationship or see her as a life partner. Her friends are backing her up, saying that people in serious relationships don't take major trips without their partners. But my friends think she's being unreasonable and trying to hijack something that was never meant to include her. The thing is, I love her, but I also love this dream I've had for 10 years. I don't want to lose her, but I also don't want to give up something I've worked so hard for. And honestly, the idea of waiting another few years to save for both of us feels devastating when I'm so close to finally doing this. Is it really selfish to want to take a trip that I planned and saved for independently, or should I consider her feelings more important than my personal dream? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.